Smuggle! Smuggle! That's gonna be hard to get on. Smuggle!
Every day, cartels in Mexico attempt to ship untold quantities of drugs across the U.S. border. And every day, Mexican and U.S. authorities try to stop them. This relentless cat and mouse has been going on for years, with smugglers constantly trying to outsmart law enforcement agents. And now, as the U.S. government invests heavily on technology and techniques to stop the illicit trade, cartels have been forced to come up with some pretty creative and weird ways to ensure that their illicit cargo reaches the lucrative U.S. drug market. Here are some of the most insane ways cartels smuggle drugs. Narco subs are one of the most popular methods being used by traffickers to move their illegal high-priced cargoes. The subs can be fully submersible or semi-submersible and are designed specifically to travel in open water without being detected. The semi-submersible, also known as the low-profile vehicles, are the most commonly used, probably because they're easier to make and less expensive. While they do not fully submerge in water, they are still pretty difficult to spot. In July 2019, the United States Coast Guard captured this semi-submersible carrying about 16,000 pounds of narcotics.
That's gonna be hard to get on. Smuggle!
Since the narco subs are purposely built to transport narcotics, the majority of the space inside is for drugs, with only a small, cramped-up space to fit 4 smugglers. There are no toilets or cooking facilities, and the crew is often assigned to the diesel engines that operate the vessel. The fact that the subs are so low to the waterline and filled with so many narcotics, there's always a possibility that they could sink and capsize at any moment, and the crew would be trapped inside. It is an incredibly dangerous venture, besides the risk of being caught and prosecuted. In some other cases, smugglers have also been caught throwing loads of drugs into the ocean where someone would later retrieve them. In 1990, the authorities discovered a tunnel which ran 273 feet under the ground, from a luxury home in Agua Prieta, Mexico, to a warehouse in Arizona. Interestingly, the 5-foot-high tunnel was equipped with electric lighting, a drainage system, and a trolley for moving the drugs. The system was so sophisticated that the U.S. officials even described it to the media as something out of a James Bond movie.
The tunnel was called one of the most sophisticated drug smuggling schemes authorities have ever seen. Using jackhammers and torches, federal agents broke into the concrete reinforced tunnel at a warehouse in Douglas, Arizona. 30 feet underground, agents walked for 100 yards through the 5-foot-high tunnel. It took them under the Mexican border to a house in Agua Prieta. There, they found an air compressor, a sump pump, a small trolley car, and a hydraulic jack. It was used to lift up the floor inside the living room of the house, where the smugglers would start their illegal trip to the U.S. Authorities said when the tunnel wasn't being used for drug running, the smugglers would flood it with water.
Since then, dozens of other tunnels have been discovered along the border, with entrances disguised as anything from electric panels, bathtubs, and elevators. The longest narco tunnels to ever be discovered in the United States was found in January 2020 and ran 3/4 of a mile from a house in Tijuana, Mexico, to an industrial property in the San Diego area. It was equipped with an elevator, lights, rails, and a ventilation system. Planes have always been a popular means of trafficking for the Mexican cartel. In the 1990s, the late kingpin, Amado Carrillo Fuentes of the Juarez cartel, became known as the Lord of the Skies because of the large fleet of jets that he used to transport drugs. In recent years, however, trafficking groups such as the Sinaloa cartel have begun using ultralight aircraft in their operations. These machines are much smaller and slower than their full-size counterparts, but have been modified with special equipment such as all-terrain landing gear and extra cargo space to enhance their ability to stealthily carry illicit loads over the border. What makes these planes really appealing to traffickers is the fact that they are really easy to operate, and they are fairly cheap and easy to construct. Their small size and the fact that they fly relatively low to the ground means that they are pretty difficult to detect. And they don't even have to land. They actually drop their cargo in the cover of darkness, where someone later comes to retrieve it. With the increasing number of drones in the market, it's no surprise that the smugglers would also use them to transport their cargo over the border. In January 2015, a drone carrying 6 pounds of crystal meth crashed in Tijuana near the U.S. border. The drone apparently could not withstand the weight of the cargo. Then, in September 2015, a 26-pound bundle of marijuana, possibly carried by a drone, crashed through a home in Nogales near the Mexican border. Despite constantly proving to be ineffective, smugglers still continue to use drones. In just 2022 alone, 25,000 drones were reportedly spotted carrying drugs over the U.S.-Mexico border in Texas. Smugglers have also been known to use drones to spy on Border Patrol agents and see where the weak spots are. Since law enforcement agents don't have the technology that could detect drones, they are left to rely on their eyes and ears. And even when they do spot one, they can't really do anything about it because they are not allowed to shoot them down without authorization. And also, they can't easily find the person flying it because they are usually hidden somewhere safe from a few hundred feet to a couple of miles away. This video, which was taken in 2011, shows smugglers using giant catapults to throw drugs over the border into the United States, where someone would then retrieve them on the other side. Authorities in Mexico said that this catapult was capable of flinging more than 4 pounds of drugs over the border at a time. In recent years, catapults have been found on multiple occasions on the Arizona-Mexico border, some of them capable of flinging sacks of drugs as high as 328 feet. But catapults are not the only things that smugglers are using to fling drugs over the border wall. In 2017, authorities in the Mexican state of Sonora found a cannon inside a van, which had been modified to hurl bundles of drugs over the border fence. The device, which was suspected to be used by the Sinaloa cartel, contained an air compressor from an old car engine that propelled the bundles over 500 feet over the Sonora-Arizona border. There are several other documented instances in which traffickers have used cannons to launch drugs across the border, including another incident in 2013, where authorities found a cannon mounted on a truck. Drug traffickers have also used cars to smuggle drugs across the border, but not in the obvious way that you might think. The drugs are hidden inside secret compartments in some of the thousands of cars that cross the border every day. These receptacles are called nails by traffickers, and they are usually built under the dashboard of vehicles, in the gas tanks, tires, or disguised as a part of the engine.
There isn't a common way. It's, deep seal concealments within the vehicles, on the person, the soles of their shoes. I mean, if you can imagine it, they've done it.
But one of the most insane attempts to sneak drugs across the border happened in October 2012, when smugglers made a metal bridge at the border wall and attempted to drive a Jeep over to the United States from Mexico. Things didn't go quite as planned, however, and the Jeep was found stuck at the top of the wall. How crazy is that? By now we know that the drug traffickers would go to any lengths to conceal their precious cargo, but hiding drugs and foodstuff is by far the wildest one. In August 2014, customs officials at George Bush Airport in Houston intercepted a man from El Salvador who was traveling with what seemed to be a box of tamales. Innocent enough, right? Not so much. When authorities checked inside the food, they were shocked to find bags of cocaine stuffed inside. Then in October 2016, a 62-year-old man from Arizona was stopped at the Morley pedestrian border crossing at Nogales, Arizona, carrying nearly 3 pounds of meth hidden inside hollowed-out tortillas. In yet another incident, Mexican soldiers found marijuana inside what appeared to be watermelons. Drugs have also been found hidden in cakes, donuts, pineapples, coconuts, cucumbers, and even containers of Mexican salsa. But one of the strangest finds was made by the Mexican Navy in June 2009, when they found a shipment of frozen sharks in Progreso, Yucatan, which had packets of cocaine hidden inside them. Drugs hidden within food shipments can easily make their way deep into the U.S., just like in the case in December 2016, where police in Chicago were tipped off to the arrival of a tomato shipment with 119 pounds of cocaine in it. The drugs had a street value of almost $7 million. Smuggling drugs by inserting them in the body of the smuggler is not an uncommon practice, and those who undertake it are often called drug mules. Some of the mules do it willingly because of its lucrative returns, while others are forced to do it by gangs under threats of violence. Most mules ingest drug packets, usually tightly wrapped in plastic, by swallowing them and transporting them across the borders in their stomachs. This practice is highly risky, because the packets can rupture inside the person carrying them, leading to shock and even death. In one horrifying incident in October 2015, a 24-year-old Brazilian man on a flight to Dublin from Lisbon became agitated, collapsed, and later died after one of the 80 cocaine pellets holding nearly 2 pounds of cocaine burst in his stomach. In another incident, a Colombian woman flying into Berlin was stopped and searched by airport officials. The woman, who had complained of severe pain, eventually admitted she was carrying 2.2 pounds of cocaine inside recently inserted breast implants. Customs agents were shocked by what they said was an amateurish surgery, saying it showed how drug smugglers are completely indifferent to human life and the life-threatening conditions of their drug carriers. In yet another wild incident, 2 women were caught in 2 separate airports in Colombia trying to smuggle drugs inside their hair extensions.
This hair-raising attempt at concealing drugs was thwarted by authorities in Colombia. They say 2 women tried the same stunt at 2 different airports in the country and were both nabbed. Police say when both women went through airport security, scanners showed foreign objects hidden in their big hairstyles.
Cartels have also been known to use religious items, such as statues of saints, crucifixes, and paintings to smuggle drugs. In some cases, they've even created their own religious figures to use for smuggling. In May 2008, an elderly woman carrying a statue of Jesus Christ was stopped at the Laredo, Texas border while attempting to drive into the U.S. The sniffer dogs at the border alerted the official to the smell of narcotics in the 6.6-pound statue, which later turned out to be made of plaster mixed with cocaine. In another incident in January 2017, Customs and Border Protection officials in Cincinnati intercepted a package from Mexico labeled Mexican Stone Crafts. The package contained a concrete decorative snail statue that an X-ray inspection showed had interior anomalies. The officers drilled a hole into the bottom of the statue, uncovering a little over 53 pounds of a white crystalline powder, which tested positive for methamphetamine. It was estimated to have a street value of $100,000. The statue had been sent from Mexico City and was destined for Lawrenceville, Georgia. There are several instances where smugglers have even used an Xbox, sneakers, children's toys, sealed beer cans, and even shampoo bottles to disguise their wares. What all these methods have proven is that cartels can do anything to get their illicit cargo into the hands of consumers, even if it means risking people's lives in the process. However, it's comforting to know that the authorities are not making it easy for them and will continue to thwart every trick that they come up with. What do you think of our list of insane examples of drug smuggling? Are there any that we missed? Let us know in the comments section. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel.